Hello, whenever you happen to be looking at this video. My name is John Whitby. I am a city councillor in Peterborough, and Peterborough is fortunate enough to have 3 elections coming up in the next 2 months. It has the local council election on the 3rd of May, the European election on the 23rd of May, and in all probability sometime in June an election to replace our criminal MP. All 3 of these elections are very separate and are there for different reasons, but they're also inextricably linked, especially this year. In Peterborough, 60% of the electorate voted to leave the EU. This has been completely ignored by every single party with the exception of UKIP. But let's look at the 3 elections. The local council election. At the present time, the council in Peterborough is run by a Conservative administration, with Labour as the main opposition, followed by the Liberal Democrats. Our council is very nearly broke. The council have been spending money they haven't really had. They've been loaning out money to various companies to try and raise some more capital. And they are selling off the assets of the city to try and balance the books. But the worst thing is that they are not prepared, because they are Conservatives, to really jump up and down publicly and point the finger of blame at where it needs to be, which is the Conservative government that have cut £45 million from the council's budget. The Conservatives have run the city into the ground. Labour would dig a trench and drive it under the ground. They have not come up with, ever in my memory, a coherent plan to run the finances of the city, apart from the suggestion to raise the council tax last year by 15%. The Liberal Democrats managed not to commit to anything, and they actually decided not to vote on the budget this year at all. They abstained. UKIP can't actually form the council, but if you elect enough UKIP councillors, we can hold the balance between all the various factions and stop the petty party politics infighting that marks the council out at the present time. UKIP does not really do party politics. We have one political ideology, and that is to do the best for this country and its people, and filtering down to a lower level, at city level, to do the best for Peterborough and its residents. We're not left wing or right wing, despite what you'll read. We will look at what is right on its own merits. And you'll have heard that we hate unions and we hate all sorts of things. I'm a union member. 2 more of the people who are standing for council are union members in the railway industry, and we have another couple of union members as well. We are working people. We're involved in unions. We're involved in paying mortgages and all the other things that everybody else does. We know what it feels like. But moving on to the other 2 elections, we have the one for the European Parliament. We don't want to be in that. We shouldn't be in that. We should have actually left the EU a month ago, but we haven't, because we've been lied to and misled. You can send a message here. Vote UKIP, vote for Brexit, and send an unmistakable message to the EU by returning Eurosceptic MEPs on the 23rd of May. And then we come to potentially the 3rd election, that of an MP. We can send a message with the council elections, a very, very strong one. We can send an even stronger one nationally with the MEP elections. But we can create absolute panic in Westminster if Peterborough returns a UKIP MP to Parliament. Because all of a sudden 420 MPs in Westminster who are sitting pretty on their £78,000 a year doing what they want will suddenly realise that they are not our masters. They are the servants of the people of this country. They are their representatives, and they should be representing the views of their electorate. And 420 of them are in constituencies where the electorate voted Leave in 2016. Remind them of their vulnerability, and they will suddenly start to do what they should have been doing all along, and delivering their manifestos and the promise they made to the British people to deliver on the result of the referendum. 3 opportunities to send really strong messages. Council elections. UKIP councillors, common sense, get the council working, but also send a message. MEPs, 23rd of May, send a really strong message to Westminster, the one that got the referendum in the first place, from 2014's MEPs, but also to the EU. 50 Eurosceptic MEPs will create mayhem over in Brussels. And finally, in June, we can get a new MP that will represent you, a working man, that will create absolute mayhem in Westminster and put the fear of God into 400 MPs who will have to start doing their jobs. Think, vote, vote UKIP.